7 women share how they got busted having sex in public. What happens in the bedroom doesn't always stay in the bedroom. But why? The allure of public sex is all part of the rush, says sexologist Megan Stubbs, ed.D. The risk of getting caught or finding a location out of the ordinary increases physiological and psychological desire. Case in point, this couple that did it on a Vegas Ferris wheel last Valentine's Day. Intrigued? Here are some of the caught-in-the-act stories you haven't read about yet. I always had this fantasy of having sex in Central Park. I was born and raised in Manhattan, and it just seemed like a cool place to get down and dirty. I begged my husband to do it with me and he finally agreed. We found a secluded part of the park and were about 3 minutes into it when we heard a group of tourists coming toward us. My husband had his pants off and I was trying to put my top back on. We laughed and yelled, "Welcome to New York," and they walked away. Cynthia D., 34 We used to love having sex on the rooftop of my boyfriend's apartment building. I guess someone in the building caught us and called the cops. We heard the police sirens go off while doing it doggy style. Then, we looked over to the street and saw the police arriving. We got off the roof as fast as we could and never went back up. Nike F. 28 Safely spice up your sex life with these lubes from the Women's Health Boutique. Vacation sex is always the best sex. We took a 3-year anniversary trip to Key West last year and decided to try having sex in a public place. We had never done that before, but we figured it would spice things up. We started doing it in a cabana by the pool after it was closed. We thought we were safe because it was so dark out, but then we heard keys jingling and noticed the resort security guard was standing inches away from our naked bodies. He just yelled at us to get out of there. Jessica F. 29 When I was in my early 20s, I loved having sex at restaurants and nightclubs. There was something so hot about having sex while my friends were waiting for me at the table or on the dance floor. I once did it with a guy I was dating in the bathroom of a nice nightclub in Vegas. We were almost done when the bathroom attendant walked in and threatened to call security if he didn't leave. Wilson W., 30 Having sex in the car is not a big deal to me. It's something my husband and I have been doing for years. We were in the parking lot of a Walmart around 1 a.m. and began round 2 of sex. Then, a car pulled up right next to us. Our windows were foggy and our lights were off, but we think they had a clear idea of what was going on. We waited for them to drive away before we got out of the back seat and drove home. NCB, 38 One night, my boyfriend and I went to a park and had a nice romantic picnic. When we noticed that no one was around at the end of the night, we started making out, which led to sex in the park. All of a sudden we heard someone screaming. It must have been a woman who was walking to her car and passed us. We didn't make eye contact. We just pulled our clothes on and pretended like nothing happened. Ona D., 26 On our wedding day, my husband and I decided to have sex before going to the cocktail hour. We started doing it in the bridal suite, not realizing the door didn't lock. When the best man walked in, my husband was doing me from behind, while my wedding dress was pulled up. He must have stood there for 30 seconds before he left. We laugh about it now, but back then we were mortified. Linda D., 40,